This is Monica from KSR Data Vision. We are here with one more interesting video with AWS topic, right? So in this video, we'll see about AWS and DevOps on AWS. So AWS is a very interesting topic nowadays, and most of the companies are using this cloud computing service provider. Okay, so without any further delay, let's get started. Here are the modules to be covered. Like before cloud computing, what is AWS? Advantages of AWS, AWS architecture, service model, and DevOps on AWS. Right? So here are the modules. So let's get started with before cloud. Okay, so what was the situation before cloud whenever we want to host a website? So first of all, we need bunch of servers, and then with maintaining the traffic, which is not constant all the way, and then we need to have a monitoring to those servers, which is one more headache for us, right? So all these leads to the disadvantages like setup is expensive, troubleshooting is tedious, and servers cannot be auto scaled. Like we have to pay for all the servers which we bought, even the servers are idle, right? One or the other day, the servers will be idle because all the days the traffic may not be same for the website, right? So, for example, if we are using Netflix website, so if every Friday, let's say if every Friday any movie or a series is released, then the traffic will be high. But on the other days, the traffic will be not same as the day where the videos has been released, right? So the other days when the website is not too busy, then some of the servers may be idle, right? So in that scenario, the servers are idle, where this is also one of the disadvantages which we face before cloud, right? So from seeing all this, they landed up with a solution called Cloud Computing Service Provider, where we have few services like AWS, Azure, etc. Right? So among them, we'll see AWS. So what is AWS and the definition? So AWS stands for Amazon Web Services, right? It's a subsidiary of Amazon that provides on-demand cloud computing platforms and APIs to individuals, companies, and governments on a metered pay-as-you-go basis. So we have to pay only for those which we have been utilized. These cloud computing servers provide distributed computing processing capacity and software tools via AWS server farms, not only storing the data, but also we can use the distribution system where the data or any packages from one region to another region, which we can learn more about this in architecture of AWS, right? So basically, AWS is a secure cloud platform service which is offering compute power, database storage, content delivery, and other functionalities to help the business, right? So this is the definition of AWS. So let's see some of the advantages of AWS. So one is flexibility. So how can we say it is flexible, right? Most of the organizations or companies have very huge data and to deploy, right? But how the AWS has been handled by this? So AWS handles by keeping the more data in the cloud, and then they have to pay only for the content they have been used, right? So if they are using only 10% of data to be stored in the cloud, so they have to pay only for that storage cost, but not for the others, right? So how this is the way it is flexible and cost effective. Okay, and then other one is scalability. Scalability is also derived from flexibility and cost effective, where whenever we have for more data also, we can go back and then we can pay for how much data we have to store, and then we come back with this the limited cost only, right? Then it is better security. Advantages is one of the biggest advantages security here for AWS. So this AWS is providing us a huge security provider based on their locations and regionals, right? And then as secure and reliable, and then easy to use. It is also easy to use. We have a free tier application also with the AWS. Like we can use that free tier for a whole long year, where we can see all the functions which we can use. And if you are using the cost effective functions, then you have to pay only for those limited things which you have been used, right? So these are the advantages of AWS. Coming to the architecture. So AWS Global Cloud Infrastructure is a most secure, extensive, and reliable cloud platforms offering over 200 fully featured services from data center globally. So here globally it covers regions and the availability zones. Okay, let's say if a person sitting on one country and he want to access the data of other countries, then he can select the regions and the availability zone where the data is being stored, and then he can access the data by providing getting the access, right? So it's a very good architecture where a person sitting in one country can access the data of the of the other country which where the access has been provided. So this architecture is designed in such a way, okay, so they can have the data center provided for each individual organizations also. And let's say if a company is headed in India and they have different branches all over the country, right? So they can have the access to those particular projects for accessing the data, right? So this is a very good feature of AWS. Okay, so this is the architecture of AWS. So let's see the service models of cloud computing. We have three service models of cloud computing, which is IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS. IaaS stands for Infrastructure as a Service, PaaS stands for Platform as a Service, and SaaS stands for Software as a Service. So we'll start explaining from SaaS to IaaS. Okay, so SaaS stands for Software as a Service. This SaaS platform involves softwares that is available via third party over the internet. Let's say examples of SaaS are BigCommerce, Google Workspace, which we use for free, but which is hosted from Google and third party bought it and we are using it. Okay, and the Dropbox. And next is PaaS, Platform as a Service. PaaS focus primarily on hardware and software tools which are available over the internet. For example, Google App Engine, OpenShift, and Windows Azure. Okay, and then IaaS. IaaS is infrastructure as a service. It works primarily with cloud computing things called Amazon EC2 instances, S3, and then Blue Cloud. Okay, so this is about the service model. So here we have few things which we can know, like which we have to manage and which the cloud provider will manage. Okay, so for on premises, you have to manage all data and access applications, runtime, operating system, virtual machines, compute, networking, and then storage, right? But in infrastructure as a service, compute, networking, and storage is been managed by a cloud provider, and other things like data and access, application, runtime, OS, and virtual machine is been handled by us, right? So, excuse me. So next is platform as a service. So in platform as a service, cloud provider manages storage, networking, compute, virtual machines, OS, runtime, and you have to manage your applications and data access, right? So this platform as a service is for maintaining the hardware and software tools, right? And then coming to software as a service, cloud provider will manage storage, networking, compute, virtual machine, OS, runtime, applications. You only have to manage the data which is being accessed, right? So this is about service models which we have in the cloud computing. Okay, so let's go to the next topic, which is called AWS for DevOps. Okay, so AWS have also a feature DevOps, which is automation for deployment. Like if we have to deploy a code, so the process has been automated in AWS as well, right? So these are the features where when the code is ready, they have to build, configure, and deploy based on the environments. For AWS, we have dev, QA, and prod. Okay, so dev is a minimum one, QA is in the UAT testing phase, and then if it is in prod, it is live. Okay, and then it has to be hosted on some of the platforms like clouds or containers. Okay, so containers have EKS, Beanstalk, and EC2 is an application for the cloud. Okay, and then monitoring. After hosting the website or the application, we need to monitor that application, right? So we have monitoring tools also in the AWS provided called CloudWatch, okay, which monitors the infrastructure side as well as the application side, right? So we'll go to the topics of code pipeline, code build, and code commit. So, the code pipeline. Code pipeline is a continuous delivery service that enables you to model, visualize, and automate the steps required to release your software. Like this, right? When a developer pushes this code, it will go to about pipeline where it builds, commits, and deploys, right? So automation has been focused in such a way that when a developer pushes the code, it has to deploy until the application. So every process here is automated. Sorry. So every process here is automated, right? Until we go to a application. So in AWS, EC2 is an application instance where you can have create an application and have an application there, right? So this in between from code build to code deploy, we have approvals. So which is manual approval, which we have to get before we go to production, right? So let's go to other one, it's a code build. So code build is fully managed with a continuous integration, which is CI service that compiles the source code, runs tests, and produces a software package that are ready to deploy. With code build, you don't need to provision, manage, and scale your own building servers, right? So like this. So code build, once the code is built with the code pipeline, so it will create a package. That package will be forwarded to the S3 bucket, and then from there it builds the output of it takes the output of the build, and then it will go for staging, right? So that is called code commit. Code commit is a secure, high scalable, managed source control service provider that hosts private in the Git repositories. It makes it easy for teams to securely collaborate on code with contribution, encrypted in transit and at rest. Like this. Okay. So from your local computer, it has to go to code commit, right? So we have a service called git or gitlab to clone our project inside it for automation of CI/CD. Okay, like how I'll explain you how it goes from pushing the code until the deployment. Okay, so when the code or something has been changed in the code, it triggers through a pipeline where we are using a version control called git. Okay, so from there, when the code is committed, it will go to the source provider. After from there, it will build a package, right? When you commit the code, it will build a package, and that zip file has been stored in the S3 bucket. Okay, so from there, when after the commit, when you have to build the next stage, so it will take the zip file from there, the source code zip file from there, and then it will build. So once the build is done, it will release another package, which is build package, and it will store in S3 bucket again. Once this S3 bucket is being stored with the build output, this build output is being taken, and then it go to next step, it is called staging. After that, if the staging is success, we need to have a manual approval for releasing that package to production. Let's say if it is production, we have to get the manual approvals, and then we need to attach that manual approval inside that, and then we need to release that package for production, right? So that production, when we release that into the site, the production will get the application hosted in our some of the URLs, like are based on our application URL, right? So then you can see the changes there. If a change is being modified, or if it is a new application hosted, then when you click the URL there, you can when you click the URL, you can see the website page which you have been designed. Okay, so this is how the process of complete AWS DevOps is been designed, like from source, build, staging. From staging to production deployment, we need a manual approval. Okay, so this is how the AWS is the basic which we have learned now is for beginners. So only the what AWS is and the advantages and the architecture, how it is designed, and then DevOps on AWS, right? So if you get a proper hands-on on this, it is very easy to understand. Okay. So this is, I think everything is clear on the topic which we have discussed. So if yes, thanking you all once again and thanks for watching our video from KSR Data Vision YouTube channel.